Ho ho ho! It is time for the Christmas special. Santa got run over by many things. So have a little Santa special drink made by the elves. Not bad, not bad. So Santa's got a little Christmas drink, just kind of a punch made with wine and juice, a little bit sangria style. So let's just make sure this works here. And happy winter solstice, yes, absolutely, today. Officially in winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. So, depending on where you are, checking out if everything's all right. And yep, seems like it. Seems like it. Okay, everything's okay here. And everything's all right here. My audio is there, but just gonna switch the audio to here. Okay. Hello there. I hope all of you have been good guys to get the presents you want this year. I guess I've been good because I got a lot of free radios this year. So it's pretty cool. Okay, everything's all right. Hey, welcome everyone. This is Santa. And I took a break from the North Pole to help my good friend Jill and be here on this very close to Christmas Day. It's actually winter solstice. We can almost say that that's kind of what, Christmas, part of Christmas is. Start of winter. Actually, I'm happy because yesterday afternoon it looked like we would have a Christmas without snow this year, but during the night we got about an inch. So even though it's not a lot, it's white. So it does look and feel like Christmas today. And you're supposed to have maybe an inch or two just before Christmas Eve. So I guess it's going to feel Christmassy with a white Christmas. Hope everybody's all right. This is a live show that talks about radio and has to do with radio. We're here every Saturday at 20 hours Universal Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, North America. And of course, today is a special Christmas show that we have each year. We've been having this each year for quite a few years, actually. It was too complicated because I'm not set up well for that, because I almost tried to make the show from next to the Christmas tree in my living room. But when I started looking at the technical aspect of it, I thought, well, no, maybe it's not a good idea after all. So anyways, I thought that we'd try to feel Christmassy with the colors on the lighting and the fireplace. And I can tell you the fireplace works well because I'm hot. So it's nice to have all of you here. We have, of course, my name is Santa, and I'm at Jill's place in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. And we are here to entertain, talk about radio. We'll have a few Christmas stories about radio. And also, we are here to have fun and, kind of feel a little festive, or try to. I know that's not everybody that necessarily feels festive at this time of year. Sometimes some things can happen that, change that. But we're going to try to make you feel happy tonight, make you feel good. There's a beautiful chat room with wonderful people. And if you want to join in, this is a great place to be for everyone. And, especially even if you're not radio today, I mean, we're Christmassy. It's holiday, and we'll have some radio-related stories that are going to be read on the air. Some really nice stories about radio and Christmas at the same time. Once this is over, there's a Facebook group, which is the same name as the official Shortwave channel or the official SWL channel. And that group now more than 4,000 members, and we have a lot of fun sharing all sorts of info and people what are listening to and so on. So it's really, really cool to have everybody here, and I hope that everybody will have fun today on the live show. One thing that I will actually repeat a little later when more people are here. Tonight, there's a DX test on medium wave or AM radio. So Stephen King owns 3 radio stations in Bangor, Maine. These 3 stations will actually be shutting down on December 31st, unfortunately, after being on air for more than 15 years. One of the reasons they're shutting down is because they're losing a lot of money, and at some point, Stephen King kind of said, I'm getting older, and I gotta kind of change and check my priorities. So you will not be, of course, giving money to the stations anymore. So that means that those stations will be gone. 2 FM, and 1 is AM. The one on AM at 620 kilohertz is going to be the one doing the DX test tonight. And it's going to... just looking at what has got in. Okay. So there's a big mix-up. Some posts were saying it's yesterday or last night. And some posts were saying it's tonight. So we listened last night. I was listening. Nothing happened. So we guessed it's tonight. So it's going to happen at 1 a.m. Eastern Time tonight. That's 06 hours Universal Time. The frequency of the station is 620 kilohertz. If you, like here in Montreal, 620 is dominated by WVMT in Burlington, Vermont. But yesterday when I was listening, I could hear a little bit of also the Syracuse, New York station. And at times I would guess that even WVON, the station that will be doing the DX test will actually have been heard a little bit underneath WVMT and so on. So they'll be doing the usual, playing, unusual music, tones, and Morse code identifications. And hopefully this is going to be heard at a pretty good distance. What's nice with tones and Morse code IDs is that usually even if you have a local station, it actually can go through. It might be heard underneath whatever station you might have at your location. So try it out. 620 kilohertz. It starts at 1 a.m. Eastern. That's 606 hours UTC. And 620 kilohertz, 620 kilohertz is the frequency where it's happening. Hopefully you will be checking that out. So I'll repeat that a little later on. I will be listening and hopefully making a video or two about it while it's there. And also it's going to be your last chance possibly to hear WVON 620 as it will shut down on December the 31st, unfortunately. So we're a week away, a little more than a week away from the, 10 days away from the the new year, which is pretty incredible. And I'm just amazed that still in 2024, the amount of new radios we have on the market is pretty crazy when you think about it. So it's I just can't believe we still have all of these new radios coming out. So people are probably buying them, I guess, because I don't think companies would make radios that don't sell. And it was surprising to get a few of them this year. That the one that surprised me the most, of course, is that Texan that decided to come out with the famous S2200X, which is quite expensive. I mean, if they come out with that, that means that they are and they believe that it would sell. Because they had mentioned when they made the PL990 and H501X that they probably those were the last high-end receivers. So that's pretty cool that they've decided to take that. And it seems to sell because an Onco is often out of stock. One of the most surprising radios of the year, I think we can all agree that the Codesen SR286 or DX286, which is pretty much the same radio, is a hell of an amazing little portable. It is something that I was not expecting. When I got that radio, I was blown away by its performance. Its FM receiver is just so good. And I mean, wow, it's just great. So we're going to talk a little more about that today. We'll be chasing pirates. There will probably be pirates on the air, maybe Christmas pirates. Yesterday there was one that was playing Christmas music that I got on, what was it, 6960, I think, AM mode. So we'll see what happens tonight. I'm sorry, I think I'm I'm swallowing beards. So welcome everybody. I'm going to take another sip of the of Santa drink. It's going to help out. And please, the lady that wrote to me a few years ago, don't start complaining that Santa's adult drinks. He's allowed. He's an adult. So I'm just going to replace my beard. Something's happening here. The beard. Oh, man. I just can't get the freaking mouthpiece to open when I talk. So it just feels so weird. But hey, and it's there and it's working. Let me just do this. Okay, here we go. Okay, welcome aboard, everybody. Jay Watterson 69, nice to have you here. We have Rob, nice to have you on board from Phoenix, Arizona. Torben Iverson, nice to have you here from Norway. By the way, so Rob says it's 70 there. Here it's right now minus 10 Celsius. And we're going down to minus 18 tonight, which is 0 Fahrenheit. So pretty cold weather in the next few days here. Sassy TBC, nice to have you here from Texas. Marvin Motz, nice to have you here from the Japan Islands. Dwayne from Bristol, Tennessee. Richard Wagner, Frosty 21 Fahrenheit, Northeast Illinois. Nice to have you on board. Going mobile in about 3 hours to pick up the wife at the airport. David's Radio Room, nice to have you on board from Central Georgia. Master Players Radio and Television, nice to have you here from Morgan City, Louisiana. WA5107SWL. Handy New, nice to have you on board. Christmas greetings from the UK, M7CON. Rob's Radio Channel, nice to have you here. KW1161, nice to have you on board from Tucson, Arizona. Matt, nice to be here. No problem. It is the time for family gatherings, of course. So, nice to have you on board and have a great holiday season with friends and family. What else do we have? RJD Dakota, nice to have you on board from Winsville, Missouri. WA0113SWL. There's a Blog or Die. Nice to have you on board. What else do we have here? The Dwayne, yeah, DX Swinger, nice to have you on board too. We have Jean Arrache. Salut, j'espère que ça va bien. Nice to have you on board. We have DX Swingers from Southeast Pennsylvania. TVDXer, ça va bien. J'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Always nice to have you here. Robert Varner, nice to have you on board. KC2TEL in a cold, windy, and snowy New Jersey. Joanne Dunbrow, nice to have you on board. Joanne Dunbrow, nice to have you here. David in Barcelona, Spain. Como está mi amigo? EA3IEK, SWL. Call is EA4998URE. And we have 57, Steve DX1. Happy Winter Solstice. Richard Wagner. We have René Charbonnier. Nice to have you here from the Netherlands. We have Penny C. Nice to have you on board. RJ Dakota. There's a fireplace. Yeah, I thought it'd be a nice little, it's a long time I haven't done that. Nice little thing. My microphone's on fire. I thought it'd be a nice little add to the ambiance. Nice to have you on board, everybody. What else do we have? Andy New in the UK. David's Radio Room. And yeah, Santa is this firewall. Daniel Conti, nice to have you on board. And hey Santa, you bring yourself a nice new radio for Christmas. No, I thought this year my Santa is going to get himself a brand new. I have settled on a brand new. I found what I want. Brand new mini PC, which are more powerful to continue doing what I do, and that's one of the things also why I often ask for contributions, because Santa has technology that he needs to renew and buy to always be up to date and be on the air, be live, and make videos. So another reason why Santa asks for some money sometimes, or mostly the channel to be able to continue. And of course, there's a pizza fund. So there's the, as I'm mentioning it, the chat, the super chat. You can give a little something. There's a little dollar icon on the screen. Or you can also help Santa with his pizza fund. Santa will, of course, be able to eat and stay fat, because Santa needs to stay fat. It's so cold outside. So the PayPal is here for the pizza fund, or any way that you want. PD1PME, nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. And nice to have you here. Robert Varner's getting a bag of coal for Christmas. Chelsea Barracuda, nice to have you on board. Says, thanks for my new PL660. Can't wait to open it Christmas morning. Cool. I know you're going to have a lot of fun. We feel like kids. We, whatever age we are, if we have a little gift under the tree that we like, that we're waiting for, I mean, we are like little kids, whatever the age. It's always the same. Let me do a little something here. I think that's the problem. My glasses, Santa's glasses, need to be over. Here we go. I think that's going to be better. That's going to be better. Penny C says it's -10 and wind chill to -16. I need a fireplace. Don Royale, nice to have you on board from Sun City, Arizona. WA7330 SWL. Lagardai, PL660. Yep, PL660 is a very nice radio indeed. Good old PLL radio. David says, no snow as usual here in Barcelona either. Olive, nice to have you here. Says Merry Christmas and thank you, Santa, for all of your very informative videos. Thank you so much. Well, Marvin Motts, technically, so the solstice is today, which means that we're at the shortest day, longest night in the northern hemisphere. But it usually takes a few days before it really starts going the other way. So it won't be before Christmas Day, the 25th or even 26th, before things start going back to the days getting slowly longer. It is always interesting when we're in winter. Here the sun sets at about 4:05 p.m. At this time of year. But it doesn't take that long that in January you already notice that the sun sets, later than 5 p.m. like at towards the end of January. So you definitely see quite rapidly that things are changing. For those that haven't looked and seen, we have a very, very bright star in the west right now, and I usually see it very well from my window here. It's planet Venus is giving us a great show for the next few months. In Ireland, we call it Ingrianstad, which means the sunstop. That's interesting. Brad Shaver, Santa's in Canada. Yes, he is. Kamikaze76, nice to have you on board from West Michigan. And he's been a good boy this year. Would like nice networked SDR play. Patrick Manny, nice to have you here. A long time no see. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Brad Shaver, I tried to grow that beard all my life. I'm not sure I would like one. John H. Santa, nice to have you on board. Wants a 1967 Corvette Stingray. So that might be hard to find. But Santa is capable of everything. Talking of that beard, I have a friend of mine that has a very big white beard. And he would be a perfect Santa without having any. He wouldn't need no extra except just the basic suit. And actually, every year I think he's asked for, would you like to do Santa here or there or at a bar or whatever? And he always says no, but he would be a great Santa. Is probably one of the nicest, most natural natural beard that I've seen on a guy. RJ Dakota says that Ball Smacker Radio was every Friday night at 01 UT and AM on 6960. So probably that's what I was doing. Santa would rather swallow beer than beer, definitely. Vicky Pelletier, salut. J'espère que tu vas bien. Nice to have you on board. Glenn Danzler, nice to have you on board. Would love to see some snow in my part of South Carolina. It's been 29 years since I've seen dusting. Wow. Kevin, nice to have you here. WS2H. Shining up some boots for winter. And Red Shaver, love it, Santa drink. Yeah, it's a Santa drink. Bob's Old Records, nice to have you on board. We have RJ Dakota says in Australia, as a tradition, he's left a beer, just like in North America where he gets milk and cookies. I like the Australian one better. I'm a little tired of milk and cookies. Jules Van Dalen, nice to have you on board. Joyeux Noël. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it's sad that the stations will shut down, but they've been losing a lot of money every year. And Stephen King has been, paying for the loss with his own money. But now he says that, sorry, he says that, he's trying to, he's getting older, that he needs to reassess where he's spending money and where he's going. But, at least he maintained the station something like 15 or 20 years on the air, all 3 stations. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Barry Wendon, nice to have you on board from G6 JMX. 54 Cal, nice to have you here from Northwest Pennsylvania. 45 unit. Yeah. Trying to move the beard. 45 unit, nice to have you on board. Snow here in Boston, Massachusetts, about 2-3 inches. Joyeux Noël, Vicky. Toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. Ken. Nice to have you here from Poland. The Invisible Man that I don't see. Nice to have you here. What the reception like at the North Pole? It must be very interesting, honestly, because if you think about the fact that you're really smack in the middle of the auroral zones, I'd be very, very curious to see what you get up there, both in the winter and the summer, and it must be very, very interesting. I think of the alert station that Canada maintains way up in Nunavut. Must be very, very interesting to check that out, or even make amateur radio contacts. Paul, AA1SU, checking in. Nice to have you here from Northern Vermont. Just came back from our ham radio club holiday party. Pretty cool. Gord, nice to have you on board. VE3BEE in Niagara Falls. Al H, nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. From a snowy and cold Long Island, VT Radio remembers my firewall. Ooh, wee, nice to have you on board. Craig Martinetti, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Jean Arrache, the fireplace reminds me of TQS when it was off the air. Yeah, I remember they put the TQS, for those that don't know, was a brand new TV network here in Quebec, and they used to have, when they would shut down, they used to have a fireplace like this on their channel. Today, that same network is called Nouveau. It was very interesting. I remember a story from that. I used to do a lot of TVDXing with a black and white TV in the 80s. And I still remember that I stumbled by accident on that new network, UHF channel. They were on UHF. They were doing tests. And it was Thursday night. And I called up one of my friends that also was playing around with TVDXing. And I said, hey, check channel 35 UHF. There's something. I don't know what it is. And there was a announcement on screen. And it was saying that, they were doing tests and that they wanted to have reception reports to see where the signal goes, and also see if anybody has interference. And I probably was there, I would guess, the first night they ever tested by accident. And those tests went on for several weeks before they officially started the network, which was TQS, a brand new network back then. TQS standard for Télévision 4 Saisons, or in English that means 4 seasons TV. They were supposed to be a brand new, very different network that we've never seen in Quebec before. But they had a rough start. They lost money for a long time. So But it was kind of cool when you think about it, that I stumbled upon their first night of testing on UHF channel 35 back in the day. KW61, give to that Pizza Hut and like button. Brad Shaver, Santa needs more thumbs up. Rob, Santa's old enough to drink whatever he wants. Yeah, but it was so funny because that year I was drinking wine, and I still remember I get this angry email from a mom that wanted to show Santa to her kid, and she thought it was totally inappropriate for Santa to drink. I was like, look, this is not the official Santa channel. It's the Shortwave channel. So, Wee says, my Grundig S450 DLX seems to kind of suck. I got one here that stopped working, I guess not even a year after I got it. When I turn it on now, it doesn't even do anything. It's like that radio, which was made by Ethon, sucked big time in quality control, I think, because it really didn't last long. And I've had a lot of stories of people saying, hey, I got that Grundig S450 DLX, which, by the way, looked great as a radio. But definitely, a lot of people, it stopped working very, very soon. And I got it on sale for like really, really cheap at Radio Shack. Talking of Radio Shack, I went to a street called Masson, which is a commercial avenue. And there was a Radio Shack there. Actually, I had purchased one of my first desktop scanners there because they had it there and not on the one that I go to, the Pro 2022. And what happened is that we were talking about it a few weeks ago. A lot of you were mentioning that the when Radio Shack changed, now for a long time it had been the Source. Well, now some of you had told me that it had changed to Best Buy, and indeed, when I went to the street, it was called something like Best Buy Express or something. So long gone are the days of our beloved Radio Shacks in Canada. James Farley, KD2GUZ in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Nice to have you here. RJ Dakota, by New Year's Eve, the sunset is noticeably later. N2COD, nice to have you here. And yeah, I did see that Danny Shortwave was on air. As I was putting the stream on, I was looking at something on the channel and I could see a thumbnail that he was having his live show. John Beckham, nice to have you on board from Northeast Florida. John H., nice to have you here. Mr. Artbreaker, nice to have you on board. And he was a good boy today. Can't say much about the rest of the year. Well, we'll just look at today. Oh, middle name is Noel. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Radio Kid, it's Santa Shaw. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Craig Martinetti. Merry Christmas. WDX2ROE. By the way, talking about Christmas, if you guys want to chase them, there's the 12 Days of Christmas stations that are on the air They usually have very short calls. I've made contact with about half of them, so you can try and contact them, and you'll get a nice. They'll make available a nice certificate for those that have made contact with the stations after New Year. So it's kind of cool, and so you have all 12 days of Christmas stations plus two. I think it's two extra stations that you can contact. So kind of cool. They've been there last year too. So I made quite a few calls. Well, last week you guys were witness to my first contact with one of them, and I was so totally surprised when I saw that the ham radio operator actually talked to me in French, which was kind of fun. KW1161 says that Stephen King needs to do another best-selling book to continue paying for the stations. Dwayne Trivet, did anyone see Father Brown this week? It was about pirate radio in the UK, a station called Radio Catherine. Jean Arrache, not only did TQS have a rough start, they were always in the red until the end. Yep. Yeah. They had a hard time. It's tough to, start a new network of anything or a new radio station because nobody knows really who you are, and I don't know. David's Radio Room says, I got to watch WPGA TV, Channel 58 testing about 30 years ago. It was cool. It is cool. It's always cool. I just loved it. I got the chance to see two TV stations testing over time. TQS, which was the new network. And I also there's a new station that came up on Channel 62. It was a channel affiliated with universities to actually, give all sorts of documentaries and basically TV online lessons, basically. So that they were like giving classes of all sorts for some of the students at the universities. I think today it's called Canal Savoir. But back then they would call themselves Télé Université, and they were in Channel 62, I remember, and I probably caught one of their first ever tests that time too. It wasn't that long before or after that new network. That too, I remember calling my friend and saying, "Hey, check Channel 62. There's something happening." Bob's Old Record, actually, there are some digital TV DXers that are out there. I've seen a few, but it's not like before. It's more complicated. And the problem with, digital is that it's either there or not. What was cool with the analog TV is that, even if the signal was not very strong, at least you could see something in the screen with the snow. Yes, Santa is thirsty. He's actually very hot. And this isn't very, I'm not going to get very drunk with this. Radio Kid says, I must have been lucky. My 450 DLX still working. I got it used. Yeah, it's. I think the quality control was varied so much on these. Some are well made and work well, and some break down really, really fast. Texan PL 680. Thanks for the idea of giving a XH Data D221 as a small gift. Took your advice of people having something like it for emergency purposes. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Personally, I think it's a fantastic idea to give out one of these little portables. It's an expensive gift. And the D221 with the weather band, well, makes for a great, great gift for emergency purposes. You never know. It could save a life. RJ Dakota, is Odyssey redoing all their radio stations? I heard that an LA radio station has flipped to something new and hope that KMOX will stay intact. They are totally changing things. They're having a hard time. They're really, really in the red. I'm almost wondering if they don't just want to get out of radio altogether. But yep, they are changing some formats, and they're laying off tons of people. They're laying off an amazing amount of people. Craig Martinetti, the Canada Post strike is over. Postal workers been back to work on Tuesday. My post office has limited workers, short-staffed. Yeah, they were first back to work for the next few months. TV Radio 1972. Hello, Santa and everyone in the chat. Michael from New Jersey got a new 2025 World Radio TV Handbook today. Cool. Yeah, the Canada Post is temporary. It's like they're forced back to work for 5 months or something like that until May. Blogger dying. Yeah, there are some of these ads that go through, absolutely. Chuck Schreiber, nice to have you here. And 5KVO from South Texas. Yeah, it was the Télé Université kind of thing. John Beckham wants to have Santa bring him a Codicen DX286. So, Brad Shaver got Italian beef from Chicago, the best. Kamikaze says, now we know why Rudolph has a red nose. He got into Santa's liquor cabinet. Imagine, and it glows, which means that, wow, I don't know what was in that drink was spiked something good. CMRG 128, nice to have you on board from South Carolina. Joseph, what's up everyone from San Francisco Bay, California. Got to play with my Texan PL 680 and Uniden BC 125 AT. See what is out there. Cool. So we're already down the chat. That's 344. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read my first email that I got of a little story from because I did talk about the little Christmas stories I'd like to share. So let me just go to the email. So we got an email. The first story we've got today is an email from Jerry that is located in London, England. Watches the show from time to time when he can, and also loves the videos. So his story starts with, in 1958, at the age of 15 years old, I got gifted my first radio from my dad. Unfortunately, a series of accidents that happened killed my dad only a couple of weeks later, which made me very, very sad. And he said that radio that he'd received was all that he could hold on to keep him from doing probably bad things. He said that he could listen to the world, and at the same time, he felt that his dad was there because his radio was there with him. And he really enjoyed listening to shortwave back in the day. A few years later, he met his wife, or what was to be his wife, as he says. And she also listened to shortwave radio back in the day. And I was sharing my story of my dad that had died only a few weeks after giving me the radio as a Christmas gift, and how it helped him stay sane and not do bad things. And she started talking about drug addiction. And she said that her radio helped her with drug addiction because when she was found almost dead one night from overdose, she went to the hospital, and there they started therapy. They started to show a new way of living. And she said, my new way of living meant that I needed to get something to take my mind off of drugs and alcohol. And she says shortwave was there for me. So he ends his email with, so shortwave helped two people that are happily married today and still in love. Thanks for all you do, and Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year to everybody. And shortwave on, it could save your life. So that's a nice, cool story there. The chances of that happening and of meeting somebody else that, like you, might have been saved by radio or by, listening to radio is really, really cool, honestly. So that's a great little story. We'll have another one a little later. Some of the the souvenirs I have of radio and Christmas for me is come from the mostly from the, because I would, as a teenager, I would not. I first of all, I was very young. My mom had me. She was 40 years old, so I could, I was probably one of in high school. I was probably one of the guys that had the oldest parents. I mean, I would go to my friend's house and I would immediately notice that my friend's parents were way younger than my parents. And so when they had Christmas parties and stuff like that, well, all the people around me were older. When you're 15, they were old. As simple as that. That's the way you feel when you're 15 and everybody is 50. So shortwave was cool for that, even though, in the Christmas holiday thing and the parties, I was not really feeling connected to anybody. I just sat down, turned on my shortwave radio, and would tune around the bands. And that was my way of, I guess, escaping the boring Christmas evenings that could be there because of that. So there's a lot of that. Or waiting for, family to arrive. And I remember the first time I came across, which was kind of a Santa net, basically. And I could hear kids on, and I'm pretty sure it was on the 20 meter band. And it was Christmas Eve in the afternoon, the 24th. And I was waiting for, my brother and sisters to arrive. And I was tuning around and hearing suddenly the contacts of little kids that seemed amazed to talk to Santa over amateur radio. And this still exists, actually, until the 24th. If you guys want to try it, there's the SantaNet on 3916 kilohertz. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time, which is about 01 UTC. So 3916. And of course, I guess, there's some magic in there that adds up. Not only is Santa there, but you're talking to Santa over the over amateur radio. So there's a lot of these little things like that, listening to or even in the evening, the parties. Later on, they were, because the way family was, everybody had like a million other things to do. So often we weren't really having Christmas parties at Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day. Often they were at other dates. So there were many Christmas Eve where I was, alone with my mom, and we do a little something, a little special supper, and have a little bit of wine. But my mom would go to bed early, so I remember a few Christmas Eve, which was interesting to listen to back in the day of scanner radios when we'd listen to cordless phones and cell phones. There was something special, hearing the people call themselves, people drunk, calling friends, family, wishing them Merry Christmas. It's just kind of interesting little stories in there like that. They're kind of cool. Brian Penny, nice to have you here. Yeah, I know. Need to put that beer too close to the fire. I can imagine how this thing must burn like crazy. Yeah. What else do we have? You remind me, Brian. I need to send you that email with the router that what router you want to buy. I wanted to answer this afternoon and just didn't have time. I'm going to answer a little later tonight. KW 1161. The government sent the new labor contract through the mail to the postal workers. D. Scott Nathan, nice to have you on board. 10 miles south of Buffalo, New York. Love the Canadian TV stations, CHCS TV 11, 10, 9, and 5, KC2 CAD. And, here in Montreal being pretty close to the border, I loved when I was a small kid, when I wanted to watch, all the cartoons. And we didn't have cable until I was about 10 years old. So when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, I would fiddle. We had a big 26-inch color TV and like a really big wooden cabinet. And I would fiddle with the antennas and get WCAX channel 3, WPTZ channel 5 out of Plattsburgh, New York, because they had the coolest cartoons that I wanted to see. And remember that. I remember also getting PBS on channel 33 because I wanted to watch Sesame Street. And kind of cool souvenirs of, listening to long distance stations back in the day. Count von Rip one. I think we all miss Radio Shack and the way that it was, back in the day. So Penny C, what a great heartwarming story. Yes, indeed. Man, I need to do something with this one. I'm losing my beard. Blogger Die gave my wife a DX286, but she just listens to FM. It's fine. I mean, at least she's listening to the radio. Pero Junak, I want time from Santa to finish recapping my SX28. James Glencross, nice to have you on board from the UK. Blogger Die, do radios that are regularly used need recapping? It's not a question of use, it's a question of time. recapping is not because you used it more or less. In any case, it's really because capacitors lose their properties over years. Older receivers need more recapping than modern receivers today. But still, a lot of, not all, you don't necessarily need to. There are a lot of radios that will continue working without any recapping. I think, yes, recapping is important in some radios, but I also think it's a little overrated that you have to. You don't necessarily have to on, especially with the modern capacitors. But in some cases you do, and mostly you'll know that you need recapping a lot more with measuring instruments, seeing their values and seeing how everything works. Of course, tube receivers, the old tube receivers, most of them do because back in the day, they would use paper capacitors that would dry up. Modern capacitors usually don't dry up. Some can develop problems, but it's not as big of a problem with modern capacitors as it used to be in the past. But, a lot of people want to recap mostly because it will help the radio, maintain its use more for a longer period of time. If you recap your radio, well, it'll have modern capacitors, which means, for the next decades it should work well. Where it could be, that a capacitor could fail here and there on some radios. But it's really a question of time, not really use. Because electronics age, and that's what happens. And today it's getting more and more difficult to do anything because today we've got these radios that have all surface mount stuff, surface mount parts. These are kind of tough to change today. Brad Shaver is a beer guy. Shelly, nice to have you on board. Digital Palm Trees, nice to have you here. RJ Dakota, I've heard the Santa Claus transmission on 3916, but also remember on 3880 AM. Bob's Old Records wants some malahite for Christmas, but unless I've got a rich uncle, I'll probably be empty-handed. Toast and Loaf, nice to have you on board. Everybody knows Santa. John Beckham, Grandma got run over by a reindeer. I will sneeze at some point, I'm pretty sure, Brad. It's like really, really tickling me. Toast and Loaf, are TV stations still analog? Nope. TV stations in Canada have been digital for a long time now. I believe there might be still one or two analog left in in rural areas somewhere, but pretty much everything now is digital. VT Radio says, you're naming TV channels in my neighborhood. We used to get some Canadian stations in our cable package. Not sure if you still do. It's different today. Probably, I would guess that it's probably different also for you guys. When we got cable back in the 70s or 80s, U.S. stations were automatically in the package. So all the channels from New York that we would get with the rabbit ears were also included on the in the package. But today I've noticed that when I look at my TV package, if I don't choose US stations, they're not included anymore. They're kind of extras. There's, today we have a lot of other stations that didn't exist back in the day also. So, Patrick Benny misses those analog TV DXing days. Yeah, they were fun. Bob's Old Record, I loved Canadian Sesame Street. The French language segments were my favorite. Carol Pot, could you share your PayPal info? Yes, for the Pizza Fund and all. Pizza Fund. PayPal. Here's the info for the PayPal if you guys want to give a little something to Santa for Christmas, because he's been good, because he's come back with weekly shows now. There you are. Jim Gordon, nice to have you on board from Dundee, Scotland, where it was the shortest day. BBC Radio 4 did an item from the Shetland Islands in the far north, where it was shorter still. So Merry Christmas. Yep, indeed. Here the Canadian North is Nunavut and all of that. It's pretty much all in darkness 24 hours now. Pretty crazy. What else do we have? '57 Steve DX1. I read on the courtesan. Let me just check it out here. A website where someone posted a question if they would be releasing a radio with SSB. Their reply was yes, sometime later. Oh, that is interesting. That is very interesting. Huh. Generash TV was digitized in 2011, so that's 13 years ago now already. I remember my next door neighbor, which was an old 80-year-old lady that didn't understand why she couldn't get channels anymore on her analog TV. And I actually went out and purchased for her the little digital TV converter box that they were selling at Addison Electronics, so that she could watch her favorite channels. And even that was not easy, because she was like, well, why is it that sometimes I get a black screen and the channels don't come in, or they come in all weird? And that was the biggest problem with these digital converter boxes. And it's like, yeah, when the signal's not great, you're not getting much. Jim Gordon, finishing off a mug of tea before I get stuck into the Guinness. I'm lucky there has been a shortage of the black nectar here in the UK. Yeah, there's I read that somewhere that there was a shortage of Guinness, that it's apparently like coming back in full swing. The young generation loves it, and there's some shortage. Pretty interesting. By the way, you guys don't see it probably, but I'm drinking off a mug. So you see that there's something that's on it. I don't know if you can read it. The 37th Nassau Winterfest mug that was happening this year, thanks to Janice, that we had the CIDX Christmas dinner. She brought me one of the mugs, and a pen, and a little pad with a world map on it. So it's pretty cool. So I'm drinking on a shortwave, in a shortwave mug. Oh, scatter radar. Meteor scatter. Oh. Penny C. Listening to CFQR 600. Sugaparang music for the Christmas season. If you like this music, I recommend it. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Radio Kid, I heard of VOA Africa News tonight on WRMI 15770 from 2:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern on December 16th and 20th. Is VOA expanding their transmission footprint using WRMI? I think it's a WRMI thing because they used to have something called Flashpoint, and it was kind of focused on Ukraine. I'm not sure it's VOA expanding. I think it's WRMI kind of giving some free airtime. Vicky, can you tell me what is the 3685 LSB? Well, this is the amateur band, an 80-meter amateur band. So I don't know what you're hearing, but technically it should be, I don't know if we're hearing anything now. 685. So I'm not getting anything, but if you're getting any, is it people talking? Is it what are you hearing exactly on 3685? Because that is really an amateur radio band. That's 80 meters. Meta Lunar, well, nice to have you here. So maybe we could dive into story number 2. Story number 2. Sorry, guys. I'm eating beard. Okay, story number 2 comes from Bill in California. And Bill says, my little story, which starts sad a little. So he actually remembers that at age 10, he was given a shortwave receiver and started listening to shortwave at that period of time, which was 1965. He says that the radio was not brand new, but it was working well, and it could receive stations from all over the world, and still remember listening to Radio Moscow and many other stations of the day. He said, I was extremely sad. One summer, we had some flooding after a strong storm, and my radio stopped working. And unfortunately, we didn't have much money back in the day, so I couldn't afford a new radio. And I was extremely sad not being able to listen to shortwave anymore. A few months after this happened, while I was still thinking of how I could manage to maybe get some money or enough money to purchase a new radio, we went to one of my uncles that lived in Florida. And while talking with my uncle, I told him how I was sad that my radio that I was using back in the day stopped working, and that he didn't have access to shortwave anymore. So he said my uncle actually went into the basement, came back up, and said, here's a radio. He had a Hallicrafter's radio that he didn't use in years, and he said, it's yours if you want it. So I was very, very happy to have my uncle give me the radio. So when we went back home in California, plugged the radio and everything, and the radio stopped working almost immediately. Something was wrong with the receiver, so still no radio. And I was very, very sad at this. One of the funny moments is that my mom actually was talking to my uncle, and she had mentioned that the receiver had stopped working. So I went on that summer being pretty sad and trying to find little jobs here and there to get money for a new radio. To my surprise, as I started school again, a big box arrived by mail. My uncle had a second radio, exactly like it, He had sent me the radio by mail. I was so happy. I just plugged it in that night, started listening, and to this day, it still works. So it's a story of being sad not having a radio, but having a great uncle that unfortunately passed away several years ago. But I will always remember how he helped me get back into the hobby with a new radio. So, little story, kind of cool. Radio, no radio. It's like a love-hate situation. So, pretty cool. He had a great uncle there that was really nice, sending him that receiver by mail. Okay. Andy New says 133 watching, only 9 likes. We can do better to show Santa some love. Yeah, sometimes the likes are kind of not displaying immediately. I noticed that sometimes the likes aren't there for a long time, then suddenly you get a jump. Lee Hanwood says nothing popping up on 3685 from southern New Brunswick right now. And Vicky Betsy, I'm hearing them on Kiwi SDR though. Okay, where is the Kiwi SDR located, Vicky? Andy News says 3685 sounds like Russian amateurs. It's possible. If you're using a any Kiwi SDR, it's possible. It's really an amateur band, so you might be hearing, especially they're following the conventions that 3685 is lower sideband. Definitely some amateur radio, for sure. So hey guys, you're watching the Santa live show, which we have every year, of course. So it's kind of cool to have all of you here today. Danny Shortwave, Radio DX, nice to have you on board. I was seeing, when I was posting all the links and all the stuff, I was seeing that you were live on your channel today. So, yeah, you're probably hearing some, it could be some Russian hams. It could be some, depending on what Kiwi SDR you're using, definitely. Here I'm very, very noisy on 80 meters, so it's kind of difficult to have anything on that band except very local hams, personally here. So, pretty cool to have everybody. Just going to check my email because my phone's been buzzing. Just wanted to see if anybody had sent any questions or anything. Apparently I'm live. Yep. Nothing else has come in. That's pretty cool. Okay. Really am getting a lot of beard hair. Lodoftin, nice to have you on board. And he says he sees 100 likes. Almost 100 likes. Lee Henwood says, I plan to listen on to WZ01DX tonight. What is the best antenna setup for the S2200X to improve AM reception? Well, you know what? The antenna that is already on it, the rotatable medium wave AM antenna, I think is great for that. If you don't have too much noise, I think that will be very, very good for that. If you have an outdoor antenna, you can also try that, especially like with an ML830, stuff like that. But I think the loop antenna is going to be great for that. That's already with it. It seems to perform very well. So once again, for those that don't know, at tonight, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, WZON 620 kilohertz AM in Bangor, Maine, that is a station owned by Stephen King, the author, is going to do a DX test with tones, Morse code, and so on at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 06 hours UTC. And it probably is going to be one of the last times you could hear it, because it is shutting down by December the 31st, unfortunately. A little something also I want to mention here, and what's coming up. There's a few special transmissions coming up that will be interesting. One is, let me just check that. I'm going to be looking at that here. Just getting the info on the I guess it's downloaded somewhere. Let me just check it out. So we got a few transmissions that are special for Christmas that I want to share. The first one, if we look here, we go. We have SAQ, the Grimton, Sweden transmitter that will be turned on. The old Alexanderson transmitter from 1924 that will be turned on Christmas Eve. Times will be starting at 7 hours UTC, and the Christmas transmission from ACQ will be at 08 hours UTC. And that is on a very, very low frequency. It's 17.2 kilohertz Morse code. It's using a 200 kilowatt Alexanderson alternator from 1924. If you want to hear it, you have probably better chances on Kiwi SDRs from Europe. It will be live on YouTube also. There's going to be the live video from the World Heritage Grimton radio station that will be showing us what's happening. They're going to start up and tune the Alexanderson alternator SAQ at 0730 UT, and they will be transmitting the Morse code Christmas message at 08 hours UTC. There's also amateur stations, Sierra Kilo 6, Sierra Alpha Quebec, SK6SAQ, that will be transmitting on the ham bands on several frequencies. So this could be something interesting if you want to try it. A special transmission from Texas Radio Shortwave will be coming up on December 25th. It will have 4 times airing. There will be the best one here in North America at 03 UTC December the 25th, which is 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve. That will be 11900 for North America, and it's a 250 kilowatt transmission from Wolverton, UK. So I guess this is going to be interesting to listen to. It's repeated for Europe through the channel 292, 11 hours UT on 6070, 14 UT on 9670, and 18 UT on 3955. And anything else? There's going to be also a German transmission, which is the Gruß on board, which means greetings on board for seafarers from NDR. So this is in German language, I believe, and it's 18 to 21 UTC on December the 24th. What's interesting with this one is that, so in North America, of course, 15770 via Okeechobee, Florida. There's 13830 from now in Germany, 11650 from Issoudun, France. But 9635 via Moosbrunn, Austria will be the one to check out, because Moosbrunn transmitter site in Austria is shutting down on December 31st. So we're losing a big transmitter site out of Austria, the one that had until very recently, actually. The Radio Austria, what was the last Radio Austria transmission, sorry. So lots of little things that will be interesting to tune around. Okay, what else do we have? Santa Shortwave, East Kiribati, Christmas Island, also known as Christmas Island, 10 meters FT8 right now, for those that want to make a contact. I made contact with them yesterday, I believe. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you on board, M7EIW. Hey, I gave Jill a time to take some vacation. Danny Shortwave is 6:20 a.m. here is WSNR and Brothers Terra at times. WSNR is a local station, so no DX for here. You know, still listen. Sometimes it could be very surprising. Listen and try to null 620 as much as possible. You could be surprised. I would still try it, honestly. Jim Gordon, this time of the year is great for listening to MP3 recordings of seasonal old-time radio shows. A favorite of mine is The Night Before Christmas with Basil Rathbun as Sherlock Holmes. Yep, VT Radio on, I believe it's on the standard. Yesterday they were on 15 and they weren't using any special frequency. They were on the standard frequency too. TNUS, nice to have you on board. Peter Barrett, still listening to my XH Data D808, which you recommended years ago. Thanks for all you do and have a good Christmas. So nice to have you here, Pete, from Mansfield, UK. Pretty cool. Yeah, great little radio. There's a lot of these radios that just are amazing. There was a question I was asked. You know, there's this perception by a lot of people that these, these portable radios aren't going to last long because they're made in China, they're not expensive, and it's like, and I don't agree and I don't go with that. They will last as long as any other radios. I mean, they are inexpensive, not because they're necessarily cheap, simply because manufacturing in China doesn't cost a lot compared to manufacturing of receivers in the past. So, it's mostly that. But, I mean, I've got some Texan receivers here that are, more than 10 years old, actually. So for those asking, it's a special Santa drink. It's actually kind of a sangria style drink. So what else do we have? Patrick Fitzpatrick, WI2XLQ. Brian Justin's annual long wave broadcast starting Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve on 486 kilohertz. Oh, that's interesting. It'll be something to check out. I've never heard that. Thank you for the tip of LVR Steelworks. Do you know if the ISS will be doing a SSTV contest again this New Year's? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I'm just going to check their page just to see. I'm going to check their page here. If there's anything else. So there's something in November. So, not really anything on the list right now for SSTV from the ISS. So I guess nothing is scheduled for now. The last info there was for the November SSTV. And that's it. So nothing special listed for now. So I would guess that it's going to be a quiet. It's going to be quiet. Do you have any schedules? Somewhere, David, about SSTV? All the places I'm looking at have nothing right now. Dwayne 1960, nice to have you on board. Ron Wade, nice to have you here. Toast and Loaf, there is supposedly a pilot carrier on digital TV stations that can be used for meteor scanner, but I never been able to receive it. Yeah, there's a there's a radar in New Mexico, Roswell, New Mexico, that uses apparently that they are using that kind of pilot carrier to make us hear the ping of what else do we have here? Okay, so checking the Twitter, Aris International on Twitter. Okay, that could be interesting. At Aris International. Let me check that out here. Actually, I'm going to add it to my Aris. There we go. Follow. What do we have here? The two astronauts stranded on the International Space Station that will have to wait are apparently been doing some amateur radio from the Columbus module. So, anything else here? Okay, frequencies for Aris. Okay. We'll be following anything there. I think they seem to be very active on that blog, so. Okay, here we go. Amateur radio on the ISS. SSTV experiment upcoming. So I'll post the picture of the Twitter feed, Twitter post, in the chat. So here it is. This actually gives you the... So, from December the 25th, 2024 to January 5th, 2025, there will be some slow scan TV on the ISS on 145-800. The mode is Papa Delta 120. Team celebrating Iris 2024. So they're going to start at 1455 UT and end at 1420 UT on January 5th. 12 images in the series. Send your decoded images to Aris in the Series 23 Holidays 2025 area and apply for an award. So all the details are there. You'll be able to get Slow Scan TV starting December the 25th. So thank you, David, for all the info. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Richard Wagner picked up the XH Data D808 earlier this year, and I like it. It's a toss-up between it and beloved Texan PL330. Yeah, that one's also good. Nicole Phillips, season's greetings to all from Northwest UK. Nicole G6PGV, pizza is ordered. Cool. Master players, no, they're not back. They're still up there. They were supposed to come back January, February. Now they're even pushed back even further. It's crazy. I wouldn't be that happy. But personally, I'd be happy to go up there. I wouldn't be that happy to spend that much amount of time when it was not supposed to. Bob's Old Records. I'm in New Mexico, but I haven't found anything special on the air as of yet. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, some slow scan TV. I guess I'm gonna install the networked SDR Play device in the kitchen and get some slow scan TV decoding. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I've been decoded a picture from the slow scan TV in a little while from the International Space Station in a wall. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So let me check if there's something else that I could talk about here. Just going to check it out. Okay, nothing else really to talk about. Nothing new. Okay. So, what else do we have? I've actually subscribed to their feed, so I can follow them now. I'll have more info. It's pretty cool. Reader Kid, reading the stuff, WZON shut down. Kind of sad, but I get it. King is 77 years old, as they started radio at 37 years. Yeah, that's what he's saying. It's like he's getting old, and that, he wants to kind of reassess what he's going to do for his retirement. And I mean, he was spending a lot of money. It cost the loss of these 3 stations that he was actually giving money was huge. It was the millions of dollars. So I guess at some point, you got to think about yourself too. I mean, I'm sure he has money, but there's a limit where you're probably thinking, okay. KW 1161, finally got my NRST working. Found I had a bad Ethernet cable. Yeah, I got to be careful with that. What I hate, I'm going to try something different. Because right now, what's happening with my NRST SDR is that it disconnects constantly. I've changed things. I've actually assigned it a static IP that doesn't change. I have, of course, removed the check mark that says, when there's no activity to stop. Yet every 15 to 30 minutes, it will stop. And that on any PC that I'm trying it on. And I noticed that it actually loses connection with the router because it's not detected. When that happens, it's not detected for like maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then suddenly it shows up again with SDR Connect. So I'm going to set up, I have my old router here, which is fairly recent anyways, even though it's a little old, and it's unused. And I'm going to create a network with that and try it with that router to see if it changes anything. Because right now I'm using the router from my ISP, which is a very advanced router. So I don't know, is it the router that has a problem? So I'm going to change the router and create a different network with my router, which is a TP-Link Wi-Fi 6 router. And I'm going to see if with that one it works better, because it's always disconnecting. Blogger Guy understands getting old and wanting to simplify life. Yep, definitely. Glenn Danzler, Santa, what plugin do you use on the SDR Play? Actually, I don't use any plugins. I should use more. I should go and play around with them. But right now, I'm not using any plugin on it at all. Radio Kid, kind of like the best Chinese food place around here. The owner just got too old, sold the place. It was never the same. I hope the same doesn't happen to WZON. Well, the WZON is just going to go off the air. Yeah, David, it seems to be very active, definitely, as a account. So, I actually don't use a plugin to decode FT8 Glenn Danzler. I simply download a software that is WSJTX. So for FT8, the software I use is WSJT. Just going to write it here. I don't see my keyboard because of my beard. Software. There we go. This is the software I use to decode FT8 and actually to transmit FT8 too. It's what the software controls my on my Yaesu FTDX10, but on the computers where I don't use their transceiver, it's the software that I use to decode FT8. One question that, because a lot of people don't know, but one question that came through on the on FT8 use is that they have a hard time decoding, and a lot of people don't understand that FT8 is very, very dependent on the accuracy of your clock. So if you do decode FT8 and it doesn't work, make sure that your clock is as precise as possible. Because if it's off by 30 seconds or a minute, you might not even decode anything. It's really, really, you need to be very precise on that. C-March, is FT8 on 10 meter good for DXing? Well, you know, DXing is FT8 is the ultimate DX digital mode. I mean, it's just amazing what it does. And, you know, some people like it, some people don't. You know, I do FT8, but I prefer a voice contact when I can. What I find mostly about FT8 is it tends to get very boring very fast for me. So I will prefer any other mode when I can. So that's definitely the thing I will try. If I what I do is when I look at the clusters, I'll check what's on single sideband first and see if there's anything interesting that I'd like to make contact with, and then I'll if there's really nothing, or if the best DX is on FT8, then I'll go and play around with FT8 for sure. So that's a few things like that that I'll do. But it's kind of cool. Yeah, I have the NetTime app on Windows for on my old. Yeah, Santa beard is removable. That's the good thing about Santa beards. But yeah, I also use that Mad Radio DX, or the NetTime app. Synchronizes the clock of the PC pretty well too, very accurately. And 2COD, Danny Shortwave Radio DX did a good example of FT8 on his live show today. Cool. Jonathan, nice to have you on board. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and do continue in listening to Shortwave. John, Tampa, Florida, nice to have you on board. Happy holidays. One question that I got that I just saw on email is what? Let me just check it out here. What? By the way, thanks, Michael, for the donation through PayPal. So the question is, did you get any radios over the years on Christmas? So it's funny because I like radio, and I've liked radio for such a long time, but I've never, let me think about it. I don't think I've ever got from anyone a radio as a Christmas gift. And you know what? I guess the problem is, first of all, people don't, of all the people that would buy me gifts, nobody really knows what radios I would like, because they know I'm, very fancy radio. So they would not know what to buy me. It would be, if there would have been one, I would have had to tell that person, well, I want to have this radio specifically. But that said, over the years, one of the things that I like to do, and this is probably why I have a high concentration of cheap, bad radios, I would often get myself, if I see a little something inexpensive thing, a $10, $15 radio. Often I would buy it and, put it under the tree as a gift to open on Christmas. Kind of, telling me, well, you've got a radio for, Christmas. But it's, apart from that, nothing really radio related ever happened for Christmas. And like I said, it's, imagine somebody that knows nothing about radio. You're not going to buy me anything you see, because you know how experienced I am. So you'll know that, oh, well, I won't buy a radio because I don't know what to buy that guy. And add to the fact that most of the time, the radios I always wanted, I eventually purchased myself, as, so... Um, Sheila, nice to have you on board from Belleville, Ontario. Keegan DXer, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. A Tickle Me Elmo radio. Yeah, why not? The one that I got that was... So Mike WX50, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. The only... That's where I don't remember when I got it. So I got one radio as a gift. I got two radios as a gift. One was a small portable that one of my best friends gave me a few years back, maybe 5-6 years ago, that I should bring out. It's a very small, very inexpensive portable, but, you know, it ain't that great, but yeah, it's a radio. But my Sesame Street Ernie in the Bathtub radio, which technically was my first radio ever. I don't remember if it was a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. And for some reason, it makes me think that maybe it was more of a birthday gift than a Christmas gift, honestly. I did get a lot of tools, though, as Christmas, because, you know, especially one of my sisters knew that I was dabbling in electronic stuff, building circuits. She would buy me these little kits that, you know, had all sorts of tools that would be helpful for somebody like me that would, you know, build circuits and stuff. So that I remember getting a few of those. It was kind of cool. Apart from that, you know, it was mostly, you know, I got computers and stuff like that back in the 80s. But overall, yeah, it was more of just, you know, the biggest problem is when you're at an age also where you can pretty much buy whatever you want. You don't really get the kind of gifts that would be the ones that you buy yourself. You know, people don't know much about radio anyway, so... Stephen Harper, happy holidays. Nice to have you here from South Central Florida. Denny Shortwave says his first ever radio was a Christmas radio. It was an AM transistor radio when I was around 8 years old. And the last Christmas radio present was the Xiegu G90 2 years ago. Cool. Papier Écriture. I've been offered an ICOM R9500, but I have declined the offer. Price was not high, but I think that there are better radios nowadays. Do not know if the ICOM R8600 beats it. They're not the same radio. Let me just check at the R95 to kind of refresh my... refresh my memory. Yeah, that 9500. Yeah. High performance spectrum scope. Yeah. Well, yeah, they do sound similar with P25 and all. They're good looking radios, that's for sure. The 9500, that's expensive. I don't know if there's a price here. Yeah, $14,995 for a 9500. That's pretty crazy. price. Pretty crazy price. These are professional grade radios. So, yeah, I remember seeing that. It's pretty amazing. I left my ICOM on 3685.
Hit the tune button first, and then once it's tuned, then go to the MOX, and use the MOX with its keys, adjust your pre-selector, but then adjust your SWR from this. Okay, I can do that, but I noticed I'm on my modulation not as strong as it was before. Well, it might not be on your meter, but it certainly is here.
So now there's some hams talking about radio adjustments on 3685 lower sideband. So Keegan is listening through the speaker of his Ethon Elite Field radio via Bluetooth. Cool. Blogger Die. I have a Lego radio, but it's not shortwave. Oh yeah, I remember seeing there was one of those. Yeah, cool. Radio is radio, even if it's not shortwave. It's kind of cool. Could be kind of cool to have one. VT radio. Actually, I'll just call me into the other room because there was a AM FM CD cassette retro boombox. My WX50, I can't remember if my first radio was a birthday or Christmas as well. Around 74 probably. Yeah. Oh, it's true. I forgot. I got it in advance. But I did have a radio as a Christmas gift. I got the TRC 432 Navajo base station back in the 80s, around 1984, 85-ish. That was a Christmas gift, actually. But I got it about a month before Christmas. But I remember my dad saying it was a Christmas gift. James Farley got a Panasonic Panapet Ball AM radio for Christmas once. I need to take out that CB radio. It's a cool base. It still works well. Either kid, I had a two-loop radio when I was a kid. K61, Alan Sherman always gets a radio on his 12 days of Christmas. Red Shaver Santa is the best. Two 9500s at that price. Hector Plasmic, just bought myself an ICR 8600 for Christmas. Cool, have fun. Have fun. Lagadai, I think my first radio was the Nanoola 10NT504. It had long wave, medium wave, and 3 shortwave bands. Radio Kid, wow, a CB base station for Christmas. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, the Navajo TRC 432, I still remember. It's here, it's not very far. It's right here in the closet. I need to take it out of the box and plug it in. Maybe even make a few videos would be kind of nice to check out. Patrick Fitzpatrick says Sherwood Engineering rates the R8600 well above the R9500. And it's much less expensive too. Much less expensive. I don't know how long these are going to last. I have the impression that when, in the case of the R8600, I have the impression that when that stops being offered, that they won't replace it with anything else. Just like the ICOM ICR30 was never replaced with anything else. What keeps the 9500 there is because governments purchase that. So they must sell a certain amount to government agencies that want high professional grade receivers. Oh, that's interesting. Here we go. Yeah, D. Scott Nathan. Yeah, that's what happens. The likes aren't refreshed, but if you refresh the page, then you'll see that the likes actually refresh themselves. So we are at hour number 2 almost finished. If you guys enjoy what I do and want to help out the channel, don't forget that there's the super chat, where you can click that little dollar bill and send a little something to help out, and help out with radios and help out with equipment. Like I said, I'm buying a new PC because I need to keep up with times in order to have the streams going. And if you want to help in today's pizza fund to make sure that Santa doesn't starve to death, you can of course send the pizza fund to the PayPal. Something weird. I've got it happened a few times, and it seems to be Chrome that's doing it. There's a freeze of the PayPal. Oh, not the PayPal, the browser. Just gonna do a little something here, guys. There we go. It's as if, because I have the browser open, it's as if the browser gets like out of control with memory. So pizza fund for those that want to help out, and to make sure that Santa doesn't starve to death. This is the email to send for the pizza fund. Thank you so much for your donations, guys. Much appreciated. What else do we have? Bogues says, long live shortwave. Yeah, absolutely. Marty, thank you for your channel. I've got the H51X, 990X, and 368, and 330 Texans based on your recommendations. Love them all. Merry Christmas to you from Wisconsin. Cool. Cool. Great radios, Marty. And they're fun to play with. John, Tampa, Florida. My first radio way back in 1965, Christmas. A Falcon Crown 5 transistor AM pocket radio. That little radio started all at 6 years young. Transistor radios at the era came with real letter carry case. Yeah, back in the day. Not those vinyl things. It was really, really real letter sometimes. Hey, shortwave, my Chrome just crashed. Snap. I started using Edge for my Lives Works Better. Yeah, that's what it just did. Actually, the only thing I got in the Chrome is the chat room. My chat room is open in Chrome. And it just did the snap problem. It kind of freezes for a second, doesn't respond, and then suddenly, paf, snap. Time Traveler Karen, nice to have you here from Connecticut. So as a time traveler, is shortwave there in the future? We need to know. So, Jeff King, nice to have you here. Lee Henwood, thank you so much for the donation. And says thanks for the RF education over the last year. Keep it coming. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for CBs. I mean, I do have a few. CB radios here, and I even got some 40-channel walkie-talkies. Should make a little more. So what else do we have? Anything else here? Yeah, Blogger Die and get the snap in Chrome too. Yeah, Chrome is some. You know, I think it gets like carried away at some point, and it kind of bloats and uses too much RAM memory, and then it crashes. So, Master Players Radio and Television, did anybody try this SDR PP server method on the Android app? If so, how was it? Radio Kid, funny, mine did on Snap 2 a few minutes ago. It happened a couple of times on the stream. Figured my 12-year-old second gen. No, it has nothing to do with your PC. It's been Chrome has been rather unreliable in the last, I'd say in the last 2-3 months. If you use it a lot, it tends to do that regularly. So here we go. Keegan the Xer, my first radio my dad gave me for Christmas, or in around 2000. A Radio Shack 12795 multi-band receiver. AM, medium wave, FM shortwave, 1 and 2. TV, VHF band, 1 and 2. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, not too bad. He just needs to replace his beard regularly, but it's not too bad. It's not like last year. Last year was crazy. I was going nuts with the itching of the nose with the beard last year. So, okay, checking that out. So once again, for those that want to try it tonight, remember WZON, which is the station in Bangor, Maine, owned by Stephen King, is going to do a DX test at 1 a.m. tonight. That's 06 hours UTC. So hopefully we're going to hear that with tones, Morse code, and so on. It also will be probably your last chance of hearing that station, since it's shutting down on December 31st of this year, along with 2 other stations that are going on FM. So pretty cool to have that. Just gonna check if I've got any emails coming in from people. Sometimes I miss emails because I don't check my emails enough. So hopefully that so here it goes. Rogue says, I've been using Brave for a long time, but I do recall Chrome was glitchy. One reason I did switch. Danny Shortwave Radio DX says, I use Edge for YouTube Studio Live. Much more reliable. I would try that next time. Chrome been crappy for the past couple of months, even after updates. Yeah. That's why I switched to doing the live with OBS Studio directly. And because I would do some live through the YouTube Studio on Chrome, and for a long time, it's been reliable, but in the last 2 to 3 months, it's been unreliable. Jim Gordon, my first radio was a Transwave 6 transistor medium wave radio. Used to listen to Radio Luxembourg, Radio Caroline, Prague, Moscow, Radio Berlin in the evening. Easily receivable here in Scotland. Yeah, works pretty cool. Master Players Radio and Television says, are we going to lose Chrome at some point? Well, I don't think so. But I know that with what's happening with the Department of Justice and all of that, and they're going to probably have Chrome detached from all the Google stuff for sure. Any Shortwave, you have elves to check your emails, Santa. Yeah, well, I didn't bring the elves here with me. Westlake, checking in from Stony Creek. SDR Play RSP1B. Wrong wire for now. Waiting for the MLE30 to arrive after Christmas. Cool. Kamikaze76, what would you recommend for a browser instead of Chrome? Firefox? This is a very personal question, honestly, and there's a lot of answers to that. I think the best is to try different browsers. People that like privacy use Brave, but there's so many choices out there. The real choices, because a lot of the browsers, most browsers actually, are based on the same Chromium base that Chrome is built on, but with a different interface over on top. Firefox is the only browser that's actually not based on Chromium, so it's definitely is better in some way, but it's also just gonna readjust my beard here, sorry guys. So, but it's also a little it could be different sometimes. It could not. There are glitches in Firefox that you don't see on the other browsers because it's not the same engine. It has slight compatibility issues. Mike WX50, Radio Luxembourg, in the 80s on 6090. Yeah, it was a famous frequency. It was a very famous frequency there. Spindle Twister, doing it all today. GMRS, CB, shortwave, police scanners. You have to develop your ear to do multi-hearing. Yeah. And I have shortwave radios sometimes. If you guys would see me, by the way, Michael Bonatowicz, nice to have you here. You have to do, multitasking with your ears. I sometimes have 4 or 5 shortwave radios all turned on at the same time. And each with different frequencies, because I want to hear different things. So you just sit down and you kind of focus on what's coming from where and what you want to hear and what you want to listen to. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Talking about the radio, I want to try something. I haven't heard it this year. I don't think so. If you guys want to try it, I haven't heard the buzzer still yet on 4625. I'm not hearing it now. No buzzer. And it surprises me in a way also because in the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been hearing quite regularly RWM time signal of Moscow on 4996 CW. Yet, usually when I hear that, the buzzer comes in. And this year, nope. Jeff King, I was 14. Mom finally got me a shortwave radio, GE Monitor 10. And he says, a few years ago I found another, new old stock. Still in the box with all paperwork. Still working. Cool. Cool. Andy New, Epic is a good Firefox-based browser with privacy built in. Jim Gordon, what do you recommend as a good browser for Android mobile phones? I actually use Edge on my phone for a very simple reason. I like the fact that everything from my Windows PC and the browser is synchronized on my phone. So that's purely why I'm using Edge, because it synchronizes with my browsers on my PC, which means if I go see a website, if I do things, all of the info is available on Edge on my phone. But apart from that, most of the time I've used Chrome on my Android phones as the main browser, basically. For me, what's important is mostly that everything's synchronized everywhere. So I go for the simplest way to do it most of the time. Is there any pirates active right now? Let's check it out here. Let's go to HF Underground. HF Underground. And let's see if we got pirate activity. So, not much activity right now, but later today possibly. I heard some Christmas music yesterday. As we get into Christmas Eve and Christmas, there's probably going to be more, for sure. Bugs to shortwave radiogram soon at 2330 on 7780, or maybe 7570, or maybe both from WRMI. So that is something you can check out, the radiogram, and download from and decode the text and the stuff from with FLDG software. Radio Red October, nice to have you here from Finland. Pretty cool to have everybody here on this Christmas special. So this is something to check out. So I'll be listening to the DX test later today on 620 kilohertz. And I will be, hopefully I'm going to make a video and hear it. I'm going to try it with my Texan S2200X. I will also try it with any radio that I have plugged into my MLA30 loop. See if it makes it there too. So, what's going to be 2025 in terms of radio? Every year amazes me. We look forward. I think last year the question was asked. We didn't have any news of anything new, and we came across the question of, do you think there's going to be anything new in terms of radios in the next year? And of course the answer to that is, for a big part, unknown, because we don't know necessarily what manufacturers are doing. But if there would be a guess, or there's somebody today that mentioned that apparently on the blog, Codicen has said that they would be working on a SSB capable receiver. That could be a very interesting one. One of the things, and one that could be something that I know a lot of you are maybe waiting for, Shoyoung with the LC100, then the next version of their smart radio. Could be interesting. Right now, they're fixing the LC90 really well. I mean, I'm amazed with all the bug fixes, all the new things. I have a firmware, a special firmware in mine that was sent to me to test out, so I can give my own opinion and tell them what would be to fix in the radio. I gotta say that RDS feature is beautiful, and the only thing, it still needs fixing on SSB, but I made a private video showing SSB on the Texan receivers so that we could see, they could see how it works compared to the LC90, which still has, it's better than it was, but it still has a glitch on it. And I think that's going to be really cool if they can fix that correctly. I think we got to give them a really some good points for really being proactive, really being being there for the user, trying to fix what's wrong, and I find that really, really cool. What else do we have? So Merry Christmas, Radio Red October. What else do we have? Bob Cantor, my first shortwave was given to me by my grandfather when he retired, a Zenith 8G005. And their bands were so alive back in the mid-60s when I started playing with that. I still have it. Oh, definitely. The bands were probably very active until they're very active until about the early 2000s. Even in the 90s, it was still not bad at all. You know, we talked about it. I was talking with somebody, chit-chatting with somebody about shortwave stations that are gone. There was we talked about radio, Voice of Nigeria. And the Voice of Nigeria didn't officially go out of check something. My beard is weird. Yeah, I think it's a little so didn't really get out of shortwave. They're still advertising actually on some of their pages. They're still on the air on shortwave. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that these stations, when they leave shortwave, and we got an example. Look at how close to impossible now it is to get Radio Havana Cuba. It's all the same. They don't have money to repair. They don't have no one to repair. So they leave shortwave, not because they want to, because their transmitter broke down. So, and then someday, transmitter's back on magically for some reason. And they'll be there for a day or two or a weeks and then disappear again. It happened a lot with Voice of Nigeria, actually. So, apart from the closures themselves, there's a lot of stations disappearance because just transmitter broke down. And that's it. So ET Radio, take care, have a good dinner, and pretty cool to have you here always. What What else do we have? Like I altered my radio as a kid. I had a jack where I could plug in a push button switch that would shut the radio off if I fell asleep and release the button. Batteries are expensive. Yep. And it's especially, we have today, for the price paid, the batteries are less expensive. But I remember, man, I don't know how much money I spent on batteries when I was in the 80s, and with all the electronics I had. But I would always try to buy the cheapest batteries. I didn't have money. And definitely it was very expensive when you think about it. To have all of these batteries for our devices. And one of the things that also was a problem is the electronics got a lot better today. Electronics today, for the same circuit with the parts they use today, will use a lot less power. So the batteries will last a lot longer than in the 80s or 70s. In the 70s, electronics were power hungry. Even radios were power hungry. So, it was something to have batteries. I remember I would go to Canadian Tires in the 80s because they had this kind of strip of 36 batteries that was, I think it was Canadian Tire branded, that would cost a lot less on, but they weren't great, but at least I had batteries to power my stuff. Because it was expensive, definitely expensive back in the day, and and to a certain extent today also. I mean, it's batteries are still there. I buy the batteries at the dollar store here. We got Panasonic batteries. I got the back actually right here. I buy these AA's and AAA's when I need them. And these aren't bad, actually. They're pretty good. But the main part is I probably have at least 40 to 50 rechargeables here, AA rechargeables. For the radios, they're fine. But even rechargeables, you need alkaline batteries from time to time. There are devices that don't like the rechargeables, that don't like the fact that the rechargeables are, have 1.2 volts instead of 1.5, and devices that just don't work well. Yeah, RGA Dakota, voice of Nigeria, just disappeared. RHC, yeah, pretty much. I hear some Cuban transmitters. So, Bob's old record, I did hear Radio Rebelde a few times, but it's not as strong. Radio Rebelde here in Montreal gave a great signal always. Lately, Radio Rebelde is there, much weaker. You see something's wrong. And I did hear a China Radio International relay from Cuba. So they definitely have a few transmitters that are working, but it ain't the same signal level. It ain't the same. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised that somewhere in 2025, if they get hit by another hurricane or something, those are goners. It's going to be over. It's a game over for shortwave on Cuba. And apparently China doesn't like Cuba really, so that's why probably they're not getting new transmitters. Because if China would be real good friends with Cuba, I bet you that they would have sent them brand new Chinese transmitters, just like they did in Mali for transmissions towards Europe and Africa. But apparently the Cuban government isn't what China expected. Jim Gordon, I noticed during the week that the buzzer was coming in louder here in Scotland. Night times on 4625. My beard looks fine, Santa. Yeah, I don't know. It's alright. Anyways. RJ Dakota says, I remember when Voice of Nigeria came in. Well, I still have audio cassettes of that. I recently re-recorded them to digital. Oh, can you send me the recordings, RJ Dakota? I would love to add them to the Canadian International DX Club. We have a new audio archive on YouTube, and I'm searching crazy for any transmissions, anything that on shortwave that I can use and upload there with pictures. So I would actually upload it with like the pictures on my QSL cards and stuff from Nigeria. So if you want to send them to me, it'd be really, really cool if you could do that. I would add them to the recordings on YouTube. I mean, these things we need to maintain and to keep those recordings forever of a time gone when they existed. You know, I was thinking one of the questions this year was about from one of the viewers was you know, if I had a sad moment of something about radio this year. And I think for a lot of us, and we were a lot of us together at that night, WCBS disappearing from 880 with its news format. That I think is a real sad moment for AM radio and medium wave in 2024. Disappearance of a great station. And I don't stop on 880 anymore. Like on 880s, like, you know, sports. I just move on. Boring. Too many of them. King DXer uses rechargeable batteries for his Ethon Grundig Edition Satellite Elite Executive SSB radios. It's about to have chargers built in. Yeah, that also helps. And you can just plug it in and charge from the radios. Radio Kid, now almost all my Ethons have sleep timer enabled by default. Exception is the Mini 300. Bad Shaver wants Santa to do the shortwave radio dance. So yes, we will. We will. Radio Kid love nickel metal hydrate rechargeable AA batteries. Yep. RJ Dakota, been hearing Radio Rebellion on 530 lately very clearly. So on medium wave, they're still there. UB Studios, do you think the hurricanes destroyed a lot of shortwave infrastructure like toppled towers? From what I read about Cuba, I don't remember the name of that hurricane, but one of the hurricanes that hit hard Cuba this year hit hardest in the region where the transmitter site is located, with all the towers and the antennas. So it was mentioned that there could be a lot of damage that has been done there, and no money and no resource to fix the antennas. Papier Écriture, having a Win Radio SDR would be a step further than AirSpy HF Discovery. Personally, I don't think so. I think with an AirSpy HF Discovery, you already have something that is extremely good. I don't personally think it would be much better. Well, if you have it, because if you digitize it, if you have them digital, but when you say you have them in digital, in the computer or still on cassette in some form, RJ Dakota? Because if it would be like MP3s or something, we could, if they're not too long or too big, a lot of emails would actually accept the file. I don't know. Because that'd be nice to keep. Roger C., Happy Christmas. Jeff King says, made a big move to rechargeable batteries. Only a couple of radios don't do well enough. AAA, AA, 9 volt CD, 18650, and all of that. JK, no longer listen to AM6. Yeah, you know, when I listen or DX, try to or tune around the AM band at night and hear all of those. I just can't listen to AM radio from the United States much. There's way too much politics going on. You know, it's fun when you find one of those oldie stations or, you know, things like that. So, yeah, I spent all day today with the curling iron to do this. It's as simple as that. Nothing like, using a curling iron and listening to shortwave. Oh, God. Yeah, it was sad losing... Like it's on an SD card, so it's what, an MP3 probably? Maybe we could arrange or find a way to send it. You could send it through an email, an attachment. That might work. John Tempa, yep. So, yep. News Radio 88. James Farley, 17650. Reach Beyond Australia in Japanese on now. Let's see if I can hear anything of that here. Yeah, hearing it. You're hearing it. 17650. Wow. I think it's my first time ever hearing it. So 17650, direct from Australia. $650. Yeah. 20 to 30 to 23. Oh, from Kununurra. So that's Australia. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. I think it's the first time ever I hear Reach Beyond Australia. Or if I did ever, it was by accident and I don't know it. But I think I've never heard Reach Beyond Australia. It's coming in decently, actually, on 17650. Thanks for the tip, James. Pretty cool. UTV and Ham, KD9WNV. Nice to have you on board from Wisconsin. Pretty cool. Roger C says received Supreme Master TV recently on 15765. Heard it, but never picked it up on the radio waves before. Connected in Connecticut. Yeah, you were probably off frequency because it's on 15770. So you probably were 5 kilohertz off. They are via WRMI transmitter. RJ Dakota, I would have to use a PC. I don't really own one. I use my phone for almost everything. Ah, okay. I get it now why it's kind of complicated. So, have a good lunch break. Keegan DX there. Sounds good. Chicken, jalapenos, and lettuce. Um, oh, they also broadcast from Madagascar. C-Mark G128, do I have any atomic clocks? I never purchased officially an atomic clock, but I had a few devices. Mostly, I had one clock from Radio Shack, which beamed the time to the ceiling. And I've had a weather station that synchronizes with, as an atomic clock with VL, but I've never really purchased one officially. Here in Montreal, what happens with these clocks is that because they're synchronizing with Colorado or Denver, Colorado, Fort Collins, Colorado, sorry. Signal is starting to get pretty weak here in the Northeast. So I have to put the clocks either in a window or even sometimes leave them outside at night so that they synchronize, because they don't synchronize very well. So the further away you are from Colorado, the worse it is. But you could be looking. Look on Amazon. They have so many atomic clocks. I wouldn't be surprised to find something you'd find interesting there. MFJ used to have some really cool ones. Not sure they still have anything left. Richard Wagner, 17650, coming in weak but readable in Northeast Illinois. Westlake, the Panasonic NLO batteries, AA's. Black ones are 2450. White ones are 1900. I have them for several years now. Still doing strong. There's the black ones and the ICOM R6 receiver. I buy the, I don't have one here close, but I buy the Amazon batteries. So maybe here I will have some. Check in there. I have some in here. Yep. So Amazon Basics. This is what I buy. They're green today. Those are the old ones. They were black. They're 2400 milliamp hour. NIMH. We're great. Have about 40 or 50 of them. So this is pretty cool, and they're not too expensive. Actually, on Boxing Day, they had a really big sale. You could have bought a pack of 48 rechargeables for, I don't remember the price. It was like real cheap. And rechargeable, and I've been, most of them that I have here are at least 4 to 5 years old, and works still great. As a matter of interest, what do people listen to this program on? Yeah, I should check my stats on each video on live shows and stuff. There's a stat. I could see the stats of who listens on what device. Yeah, they're from Kununurra, Western Australia. But you know, it could have been, they could have purchased some airtime via Madagascar. It's just that I'd never seen that they do, because they're from their transmitter site in Kununurra. RJ Dakota, I thought about doing a review of the ICR 110, but I don't do well with reviews, and others have done so. So, interesting to see what people are using. And there's all sorts of things. There's some people are watching on smart TVs, some on PCs, tablets, phones, depending what you're using. One thing I want to mention is if you are a member of the Canadian International DX Club, which is Canada's radio club, if you're a member, there's a Zoom meeting tonight at 7 p.m., which is 0 hours Universal Time. So don't forget that if you want to join in and see and have fun with other people. For those that don't know what the CIDX is, it's the Canadian International DX Club. Is Canada's radio club. It is not just for Canadians. You are not just getting a bulletin every month called the Messenger. You're also part of you're really a member of a club. We have a monthly Zoom meeting. I have the utility column that I do, and there's a lot of stuff. The December edition is 93 pages, I believe. Lots of cool stuff in there. If you do want to join in, all the details are here. I'm going to post the link. And if you've never asked for it and would like to see what it's all about, you can ask for a sample copy and look at what it's all about. Brad Shaver, never have any problem with Amazon battery. Yep, same here. They're really, really good. RJ Dakota, I watch you regularly on YouTube on my large screen Vizio and use the phone to send messages to you like this. Cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot about people talking about the IKEA batteries, the Lada. So check it out. Yeah, no, it's tonight, 7 p.m. So I'll be signing off a little earlier because of that. And we'll be checking out the CIDX meetup. And it's just incredible. I don't know about you guys, but I am amazed at the fact that we are so close already at the end of the year. It's pretty crazy. And when I think about it, it will be interesting to see what will we get in 2025. What shortwave surprise are we going to get? What new radios, any new Chinese manufacturer we don't know of will pop up with something. One thing for sure, it's just amazing when you think about it. And that we're all still here in 2024 talking about an old technology. And that's called radio and shortwave radio. So this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So we'll be looking, of course, for the Shoyang LC100. See what's going to happen with that. Will there be that next year that DX, the quota send radio with SSB? That'd be like amazing, honestly. So this definitely is kind of cool. So we're gonna have parts tonight, probably with maybe Christmas themed music. Looking here, see if there's anything right now. Seems like a quiet evening for now, but it won't stay quiet forever, for sure. So 620 tonight, 620 kilohertz, WZON, the X test is going to be cool, 1 a.m., 06 UTC. And I'll talk about, once again, for those that have missed it, there's several special transmissions coming up for the Christmas holiday. Texas Radio Shortwave Christmas Special will be coming up at on December the 25th. The first airing is via Wolverton, UK, to North America with 250 kilowatts. That'll be 11,900 kilohertz at 03 UTC, so that's going to be basically Christmas Eve, North America. 11, 14, and 18 UTC for Europe, 6070 at 11, 9670 at 14, and 3955 at 18. SAQ, Granton, Sweden, with their old 1924 Alexanderson alternator, will be transmitting its Christmas message. 17.2 kilohertz. That's very, very low frequency. 17.2 kilohertz in CW. The Christmas transmission message will be at 08 UTC. So that's going to be interesting. Probably will need to be on an SDR somewhere in Europe. And we have finally NDR with Grüß on board, which means greetings on board for seafarers in German. 18 to 21 UT on December 24th. 6030 from Issoudun, France. 6080 from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. 9635 via Moosbrunn, Austria, and that could be one of the last times you'll ever hear Austria on shortwave via a transmitter site, because Moosbrunn shutting down at December 31st. 11650 via Issoudun, France. 13830 via Now in Germany, and 15770 via Okeechobee, Florida. So lots of interesting stuff to check out. There's also a broadcast from Radio London International, the Big L, and that will be December the 22nd, 18 to 24 UT, December the 23rd, 19 to 24 UT, broadcast via channel 292 on 9670, and also 3955 and 6070 at times. So, interesting stuff for the Christmas holiday shortwave season. Can tell you that. Westlake. Think I tossed all my old monitoring time magazines I used to get. More VHF airband scanning back then. You can all get them, Westlake, eh? For those that don't know, once again, there's this website, World Radio History. Radio History. There you will get old electronic magazines, old radio magazines. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's so cool to go there, from old publications of the 1920s, 30s, and so on. And the monitoring times are there, and so on. Yeah, very low frequency Carl Icon, VLF. Bob's Old Record would like to see a Texan SDR. Yeah, I don't think Texan is there. I think Texan is still in good old portable radios. Who knows? Who knows? Jim Gordon, with the lack of sunshine up here at this time of year, I find that I have to put my watch on the window to have them recharge. So, yeah. I have two security cameras here. And one of them both of them are, of course, rechargeable via solar panel. But one of them is in the back, and at this time of year, the sun is so low that the panel gets direct sunlight maybe only an hour a day. So I have to be careful, because if I watch it too much, the battery drain, and then the camera stops working. Is there a link to the shortwave Christmas broadcast? There will be tomorrow. If you go to our YouTube channel for the International Radio Report show, when I post the YouTube version of our show, you will have all the links to all of these programs. So that's going to happen tomorrow after the show is aired. So here's the link to that. If you guys don't know about the International Radio Report, 30-minute show about radio we have every Sunday on a local station in Montreal called CKUT 90.3 FM. But we also have the show posted on our YouTube channel, and all the links to our stories are there. So see Marchi, all the broadcast links will all be on that YouTube channel in the description. RJ Dakota, there's always some company that can or will make these products. I've noticed cheaper SDR products all the time. Yeah, a lot of stuff from China coming from these brands that we don't know who they are exactly, and popping up all the time, and having all of these new radios and portable SDRs and so on. Yeah, that's true. KW1161, the Shortwave Listening Post, often has a lot of these links for the different shows also. Actually, I haven't promoted Thomas Witherspoon's website in a long time. So if you guys don't know about the Shortwave Listening Post, here is the website, Shortwave Listening Post. This is maintained by Thomas Witherspoon, and you have a lot of stuff here, so you'll have some of those links here too. As a lot of the info we have come from there too. So here's the shortwavelistening.com, and lots of stuff there, lots of interesting reading material and reviews there to check out. So if you guys want to check that out, it's really cool. So we'll be looking at that. And here we go. So don't forget, if you like what I do and appreciate, there's the super chat. We can give a little something to help out. And there's also the pizza fund if you want Santa to not starve to death. The pizza fund is a great way to have Santa order pizza today. Thanks for all the donations through the year, guys. Thanks for being here. I'm happy to be back every Saturday now. It's kind of, the energy level has come back. Even though my life's still complicated as a caregiver, and lately it's been hospital visits almost every 2 to 3 days. But hey, we've got to do what we can. Yeah, DX Info Center has a lot of cool information for those that want to DX all sorts of different things, including non-directional beacons and so on. It's a great place to be. Very up to date. Paul Tilley, Merry Christmas. Nice to have you here. And so I want to thank all of you for being here today on this Christmas show. It's nice to have you here. Thank you, UTV and Ham, KD9WNV, for the donation. And it's really cool to see that we have another year. It's really nice to have you guys on board. I will wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'll take a little break because since I have to go to the CIDX Zoom in an hour's time, I want to eat before I reach there, and I will be using the Pizza Fund for that. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for being here. We're going to be back next week. I don't know, I'll be looking at maybe a little something special that we could do next week also, because we'll be close to New Year. And see what we can whip up. And see also, as we're getting into 2025, it's incredible when you think about it. In 1982, when I started shortwave listening, did I think this would be a thing? Well, I never thought that I would be in a live show like this ever. But, thinking about, would I be listening to shortwave still in, 2024, 2025? Not sure I would have thought about that. Merry Christmas, everybody. And by popular demand, we will end the show. Thank you, SWAT Cuts, for the donation. We'll end the show with a little something special. Santa will be dancing the Moscow Nights. So we'll see if it works.
Pendant les fêtes, choisissez l'instant et fondez de bonheur. Lindor.
Need to ship something internationally, but don't know where to
this
start?
doesn't go
I'm going
to
to
the
show you
right
how Pure Later
place.
makes international shipping simple in 60 seconds or less.
Okay.
Pure Later.
Ignore. And here we go, guys. There you go, guys. Love you all. Santa loves you. Stay safe. Have a great holiday season. See you next Saturday. Lots of love. Take care, guys.